Good morning. The subcommittee will come to order. I just first want to say thank you again to our witnesses here today who took time to come to Washington to testify in front of this committee. This is an issue that's vitally important, not only to my home state of Iowa, but to farming communities across the country. I greatly, greatly appreciate you guys taking the time and really look forward to everything we're going to hear today and all of your expertise as well. So thank you again. Having grown up in Northeast Iowa, I know how important agriculture is to our way of life in Iowa, and that farmers are quite literally the backbone of our economy. And in Iowa, agriculture contributes to over $9 billion annually to our state GDP and accounts for most of our top exports. In my congressional district, nearly 14,000 people are farmers or work in agribusiness, while countless others, like our manufacturers and small business owners, rely on a strong agricultural economy, like our UAW workers who make those John Deere tractors in my district. I'm very excited about our hearing today on ways we can support new and beginning farmers. See, I grew up in Sherrill, a little bit north of Dubuque, where I represented in the State House. It's a town with more cows than people, which I'm still very proud to say. My parents still live back there. My friends grew up on their family's farms. In fact, when I'd spend the night at their house, it was a thing. It wasn't even negotiated. You got up in the morning and you did chores. And I still know how to make a mean bottle of milk replacer to go feed the calves. But again, it was a way of life and still is that I'm so proud to have grown up around and been a part of. And it's something that we have to make sure that we are protecting in Iowa, not just for our economic security, but also for who we are and our values. And, I also think of my sister and her husband, who are corn and soybean farmers. They've got 500 acres and a 2-year-old, and now I think he's 4 weeks old, or he will be on Saturday, a little guy at home. And I've heard firsthand from them and folks across the district just how tough things can be and are right now because of an ongoing trade war that's been happening for over a year and a half. And so there's a lot going on in the agricultural economy, and we need to be making sure we're doing everything we can here in Congress to hear from the folks on the ground living it day to day, and making sure that Iowans in my generation and the generations after mine are able to live their dreams and take over family farms and invest in new ones to start their own dreams. Again, our way of life continues to be at risk given what we've seen in the past 20 years. Iowa's lost actually over 10,000 farms, many of them small and medium-sized farms. It isn't just Iowa, though. This is happening across the country. The farming community is aging. The average age of the American farmer is around 58 years old. And in Iowa, farmers over the age of 75 have increased by 28% since 2012. To ensure the continued success of American agriculture, we must facilitate the transfer of skills, knowledge, and land between this generation and the next one. The problem continues, again, to be bigger than that. Again, while farming has never been easy, you don't go into it because it's easy, but the increasing cost of production, low commodity prices, again, exasperated by this ongoing trade war, coupled with unpredictable weather patterns such as flooding we've experienced this spring in Iowa, have made it difficult for farmers like my friends that I grew up with in Sherrill, and folks all across my district. And as I'm sure we'll hear from our witnesses today, aspiring and beginning farmers are facing significant challenges, and some of them are much different than some of our parents' generations. There are things we can do, though, and we should do, to step up with these new and beginning farmers to help success. We should explore new ways to help farmers access the capital they need to not only invest in the land and equipment, but offset some production costs when they're first starting out. Another great way for young farmers to get started is with infrastructure and livestock facilities. I'm happy to be working on legislation that would help beginning farmers access capital for ag infrastructure. We know that new and beginning farmers, like many Americans, including myself, are also saddled on top of all this with student loan debt. We should examine how that impacts their choices and opportunities when it comes to starting a career in agriculture. We should also help these farmers access emerging markets both at home and abroad. We also need a smart trade policy that helps, not hurts, American agriculture. As weather becomes obviously increasingly unpredictable, like we saw with the floods in the spring, farmers also need strong infrastructure from the federal government when it comes to national disaster strikes. The future of a rural economy truly depends on the next generation. Just like our teachers, police, officers, and small business owners, farmers are part of the fabric of our rural communities. They make places like my hometown somewhere where people can work hard, raise a family, and have a good life. And I'm so fortunate to work with my ranking member, Dr. Joyce of Pennsylvania, on these issues day in and day out. And I'm happy Mr. Hagendorn is stepping in today for a few seconds, which I know obviously are equally important to your district as well. I'm glad that we share this priority for supporting our farmers and our rural communities, and I look forward to continuing our bipartisan work on this subcommittee. I want to, again, just thank the witnesses for being here for what I hope will be a very productive discussion.